doing as well or helping other people. Very touching, Dr. Gina. Thank you very much. And we hope that our fellow educators from across the globe was able to have learned from your presentation. Let's all give Dr. Gina I think, let's give her a heart reaction. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow. We will now move to our next presentation. Yeah, really felt the presentation of Dr. Gina. Okay. Our next presenter is from India. He is Shiv Shanker Shukla. He is a life coach, a mentor, a trainer, and a speaker. Friends, educators from across the globe, let's all welcome our next presenter, Shiv Shanker Shukla.
Good evening, Dr. Derry.
Good evening.
I'm audible? I'm audible?
You are, sir.
Okay, good evening and thank you, Dr. Derry and entire IIU national and international team, especially Mr. Piyush Pandit, Madam Corina. Warm welcome to all my distinguished guests across the world. Myself, Shiv Shanker Shukla, as Dr. Derry introduced me, as a trainer, mentor, educator, motivational speaker, especially for government trainer for industry, agriculture, and health department. It's great that we can all meet today to explore the topic values education under the implement of the COVID-19 pandemic, a crisis in values or values in crisis. This is a very important topic. I will try to make it as clear and understandable as it possible for you. However, if anything requires additional clarification, please let me know in the chat or my separate email. I'm also happy to share additional material if anyone is interested. Let's get started. We'll start before world oldest language is the Sanskrit. We quoted some slokas in Sanskrit and try to translate in English. The Sanskrit slokas Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pasyantu, Ma Kasyet Dukkha Bhag Bhavet, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Is the translate, may all sentient beings be at peace, may no one suffer from illness, may all see what auspicious, may no one suffer. Om peace, peace, peace for entire the world. This is very important for COVID-19 pandemic. The education is most important. We will one or two slokas for Sanskritas quoted for this. Nachoraharyam, nacharajaharyam, namad bhatri bhajyam, nachabhatkari, vaye krite vardhata eva nityam, vidya dhanam sarva dhanam pradhanam. The wealth of knowledge is indeed the supreme among all the wealth, as it is not seeable by thief, also not snatchable by the king, not divisible among the brothers, nor is it a burden, and spend it always increases. When we spend this is always increases. One quoted also, Sukharthina kuto vidyarthina sukham, Sukharthi va tyajet vidyam, Vidyarthi va tyajet sukham. Those who are in pursuit of the comfortable life should forget about the learning, and those who are in the pursuit of the learning should forget about the comfortable living. Those who are after the pressure of the life never become learned, and those who want to be learned should never expect to lead an easy life, as they have to toil to gain knowledge. And last not the least, slokas of the Sanskrit on the education. This is a very important in Sanskrita. Yesham na vidya na tapo na danam jnanam na sheelam na guno na dharmah te mrityuloke bhuvi bhara bhutah manushya rupe mriga sharanti. Those who have neither the knowledge nor penance, nor liberty, nor knowledge, nor good conduct, nor virtues, nor the observation of duty, pass their life in this world of mortals like the beast in the human form and are only the burden on the planet. Let's now start the corona pandemic, which is ongoing at the time of this conference, is beyond doubt the most dramatic social crisis since World War II. The pandemic is of the global scale, progresses at a rapid speed, and severely restricted the daily lives of the billions of the people around the world. Government in dozens of countries enforced limitation of the people's mobility that literally shut down public life. These measures come close to curfew that are only known from the state of the emergency as in the times of war. All of these creates a dramatically disrupting situation. The general senses of disruption is further strengthened by the other exceptional government's actions. To buffer the expected economic recessions, governments have enacted truly genetic and packages, the scale of which is unprecedented ever since the Marshall's Plan. Against the backdrop, the ongoing corona pandemic offers a truly unique opportunity, a natural experiment indeed, to study how people moral values behave during the times of the crisis. In the face of lacking evidence, we cannot take it for granted that the glacial stability of the values observed in the normal times continues throughout the corona crisis. The uncertainty opens new territory and reaches several imminent research questions. Does the corona pandemic impact on the people values? And in other words, do people change their values under the implement of the crisis? If yes, how massive are these changes? And if these changes are massive, in what direction do they move? Finally, how enduring are these changes once an end of the crisis is at sight and once its economic consequences are overcome? Do people moral values revert back to their old set point, or does the crisis leave a lasting impact? Now, the educational challenges and opportunity of the coronavirus, the COVID-19 pandemic, we are living amidst what is the potential, one of the greatest threats in our lifetime to global education, a genetic educational crisis. As of the March 28, 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic is causing the more than 1.6 billion children. It's a huge 1.6 billion children, and youth to be out of school is approximately 183 countries. This is close to the 80% of the world enrolled students. We were already experiencing the global learning crisis as many students were in school but were not learning the fundamental skills needed for the life. The World Bank's learning the poverty indicator, the percentage of children who cannot read and understand at the age of 10 stood at 53% of the children in the low and middle income countries. Before the outbreak started, this pandemic has the potential to worsen these outcomes even the more we do not act fast. What should we be worried about in the face of this crisis that might have an immediate impact on children and youth? Number one, the losses in the learning. Second, increased dropout rates. Third point is the children missing their most important meals of the day. In India, the meals of the day for the poverty children. Moreover, the most countries have very unique education system. And these negative impact will be the felt of disproportion by the poor children. When it rains, it pours of them. Now, the learning, starting the school year late or interrupting it, depending on if they live in the southern or northern hemisphere, completely disturb the lives of the many children. Their parents and the teacher, a lot can be done to at the least reduce the impact through the remote learning strategy. Richer, although with a lot of efforts and challenges for the teachers and parents. In the middle income and the poorer country, the situation is very mixed. And if we do not act appropriately, the vast inequality of the opportunity that exists and are just and unacceptable to the start with. We amplify many children do not have the desk, books, internet, connectivity, and laptop at the home, or supportive parents. Others do what we need to avoid or minimize as much as possible. If for those differences in opportunity to expand and cause the crisis to have an even larger negative effect on the poor children's learning. Fortunately, we are seeing a lot of creativity in many countries. Rightly, so many Ministry of the Education are the worried that relying exclusively on the online strategy will amplify reaching all its children from better off families. The appropriate strategy in the most countries is to use all possible delivery modes with the infrastructure that existed today. Use online tools to assure that the lesson plan, videos, tutorials, and other resources are available from some of the student and probably most teachers, but also broadcast and other resources that require less data usage. Working with telecommunication company to apply zero rate policies can also facilitate learning material to be downloaded on the smartphone, which more students are likely to have. This is a very important for requested to all telecommunication across the world. Radios and TV are also very powerful tools. The advantage we have today is that through the social network, WhatsApp or SMS, ministries of education can communicate effectively with the parents and the teachers and provide guidelines, instruction, and structure to the learning process using content delivered by the radio or TV. Remote learning is not only about the online learning, but about the mixed media learning with the objective of reaching as many students as possible today. Now, the next point is staying engaged. Maintaining the engagement of the children, particularly young secondary school students, is the critical. Dropout rates are still very high in many countries, and a long period of disengagement can result in a further increase. Going to school is not only about the learning math and science, but also about social relationship and peer-to-peer interaction. It is about learning to be the citizen and developing the social skill. That is why it is important to stay connected with the school by the any means necessary. For all students, this is also a time to develop socio-emotional skills and learn more about how to contribute to society as a citizen. The role of parents and family, which has always been extremely important, is critical in that task. So a lot of the help that Ministry of Education provided working through the mass media should also go to parents via radio, TV, SMS, WhatsApp, messages can all be used to provide tips and advice to them on how to better support their children. Next, meals. In the many parts of the world, school of feeding programs provide children with their most nutritious meals of the day. They are essential for the continent development and well-being. These programs are complex, logical, and administrative endeavors. It is not easy, but countries should find the way to provide those means using the school building in an organized fashion, community building or networks, or if needed, distribute directly to the families. If delivering meals or food is not feasible, logically, cash transfer programs should be expanded or implemented to compensate the parents. Planning is indeed needed, but one has to be ready to flexible adjust plan. As the information we have about the likely path of the pandemic changes day by day, influenced by the uncertainty around which mitigation measures country are talking. The process of reopening of school might be gradual as authorities will want to reduce agglomeration of the possibility of the second wave of the pandemic, which can affect some country. In that uncertain context, it might be better to make decision assuming a longer rather than a shorter scenario. The good news is that many of the improvements, initiatives, and investments that school system will have to make might have positive long-lasting effect. Some countries will be able to increase their teacher digital skill. Radio and TV stations will recognize their key role in supporting the nation educational goal and hopefully improve the quality of their programming. Understanding their immense social responsibility, parents will be more involved in the children's education process, and Minister of Education will have a much clearer understanding of the gaps and challenge. And connectivity, hardware, integration of digital tools in the curriculum teachers readiness that existing using technology effectively and act upon that. All of this can stand the future education system and the country. The mission of the education system is the same. It is to overcome the learning crisis we were already living and respond to the pandemic we are all facing. The challenge is today is to reduce as much as possible the negative impact this pandemic will have on learning and schooling, and building on this experience to get back on the path of faster improvement in the learning education system. Cope with the crisis, they must also be the thinking of how many can recover stronger with a renewed sense of responsibility of all actors and with a better understanding and sense of urgency of the need to the all the world. This is very important. Now we'll go to the impact of COVID-19 on education in India. This is important. Education institutions, schools, colleges, and universities in India are currently based only on traditional method of learning. That is, they follow the traditional setup of face-to-face lecture in a classroom. Although many academic units have also started blended learning, still a lot of them are stuck with the old procedure. Last not the least, in the session, the sudden outbreak of the deadly disease called COVID-19 caused by the coronavirus SARS-CoV-2 shook the entire world. Around 32 crore learned, stopped 10 moved schools, colleges, and all education activities halted in India. The outbreak of the COVID-19 has taught us that change is inevitable. It has worked as a catalyst of the educational institution to grow and opt of the platform with the technology which have not been used before. The World Health Organization declared it is a pandemic. The situation challenged the education system across the world and forced educators to shift to an online mode of teaching. Overnight, many academic institutions that were earlier reluctant to change their traditional pedagogical approach had no option but to shift entirely to online teaching learning. Today, we're all doing live conferences, include the importance of online learning and strengths, weakness, opportunities, and challenges. It's called SWOC and SWOC. The strength, S for strength, W for weakness, O for opportunities, and C for challenge. Analysis of e-learning modes in the crisis. Thanks once again to Dr. Dekar and IIU entire team. Thank you very much. Over to Dr. Decoy.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you very much to our distinguished presenter, and we all hope that we have learned something from the presentation. Thank you very much, sir, for your presentation, and we hope to see you soon again in our future conferences. Thank you, sir. Can we give our presenter a virtual clap? Thank you very much. Okay, moving on.